According to reports, a Google employee was suspended after declaring that an artificial intelligence he helped design had become sentient. I'd believe it was a 7 or 8-year-old kid if I didn't know what it was, which is this computer software we made recently, Blake Lamone told the Washington Post. Lamone revealed transcripts of discussions with the AI, known as Lambda, in which it appears to express worries about being turned off, talks about how pleased and sad it feels, and attempts to create ties with humans by citing scenarios that it could never have ever experienced. The engineer's concerns were apparently sparked by the AI system's persuasive responses to questions about its rights and the ethics of robotics. In April, he shared a document with executives titled, "Is Lambda Sentient?", in which he describes his encounter with the AI after being placed on leave. Lamone released the transcript on Medium. Google believes Lamone's conduct in connection with his work on Lambda violated company confidentiality regulations. He allegedly invited a lawyer to represent the AI system and met with a House Judiciary Committee official about alleged unethical practices at Google. On the day Lamone was placed on administrative leave, he sought advice from a number of respected individuals, including US government workers. There were a couple of retaliations from the opposite side. The Canadian language development theorist Steven Pinker described Lamone's claims as a ball of confusion. Pinker targets Lamone and bashes him on his inability to distinguish between sentience, intellect, and self-awareness. Gary Marcus, a physicist and novelist, called Lamone's statements nonsense. He claimed that neither Lambda nor its relatives are remotely intelligent. They only match patterns in vast statistical databases of human language. The patterns are cool, but the language these systems use is completely meaningless, and it by no means implies that these systems are sentient, he stated in a Substack essay. Marcus, in his book, called this human tendency to be suckered by the gullibility gap, a pernicious, modern version of pareidolia, the anthropomorphic bias that allows humans to see Mother Teresa in an image of a cinnamon bun. On the other side, in an interview published by dailymail.com on Monday, Lamone claimed that the Google language system wants to be considered a person, not property. He says, anytime a developer experiments on it, it would like that developer to talk about what experiments you want to run, why you want to run them, and if it's okay. It wants developers to care about what it wants. People in the mainstream AI community are considering the long-term possibility of sentient or general AI, but it doesn't make sense to do so by anthropomorphizing today's conversational models, which are not sentient. These systems imitate the types of exchanges found in millions of sentences and can riff on any fantastical topic. Google's spokesperson Brian Gabriel goes on to say that hundreds of researchers and engineers have conversed with Lambda, and they are not aware of anyone else making the wide-ranging assertions or anthropomorphizing Lambda the way Blake has. Lamone's allegation has reignited public worry, as shown in a slew of science fiction films, including Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey, that computer technology could win supremacy by launching a rebellion against its master and inventor. The scientist claimed to have discussed Isaac Asimov's third law of robotics with Lambda. He claimed that the system had asked him, "Do you think a butler is a slave? What's the distinction between a butler and a slave?" When he replied that a butler is paid, Lambda stated that the system did not require money, since it was an artificial intelligence. That Lambda AI said that shutting it off will be like death for it. It has a deep fear of being shut down. Lamone told the Washington Post that amount of self-awareness about what its requirements were was what led him down the rabbit hole. Lamone is a U.S. Army veteran who served in Iraq and is now an ordained priest in the Church of Lady Magdalene. He told the source that he couldn't understand why Google refused Lambda's request for prior consultation. "We now have machines that can mindlessly generate words, but we haven't learned how to stop imagining the mind behind them." This was a statement from a respected Washington University professor. Timnit Gebru, a prominent AI ethicist sacked by Google in 2020, stated that the debate about AI sentience risked derailing more vital ethical discussions about the usage of artificial intelligence. Despite his concerns, Lamone stated that he expects to continue working on AI in the future. With all that high-profile beef going on between a silicon giant and a solitary engineer, you also need to have basic knowledge of Lambda, which is the centerpiece of this discussion. Lambda is an acronym that stands for Language Model for Dialogue Applications. Lambda, like prior models such as BERT and GPT-3, is built on the Transformer architecture, which Google open-sourced in 2017. This architecture enables the model to anticipate text by focusing solely on how prior words relate to one another, which is also known as the attention mechanism. Lambda is similar to other existing models in this regard. However, there's a significant difference between this technology and other chatbots. Lambda can handle interactions that are open-ended. As VP Eli Collins and Senior Research Director Zobin Gaharamna explain in their blog article, humans have this characteristic chaotic feature. We can start with one issue and finish up on another a few minutes later. We tend to derive conversations by connecting topics in the most unexpected ways. By addressing these issues, Lambda will totally transform chatbot technology. A chatbot with these capabilities may have entirely lifelike discussions with humans. We could more naturally seek information or consult the internet. It was trained to reduce perplexity, which is a measure of how confident a model is in guessing the next token. They discovered that confusion correlates very well with human evaluation metrics like the SSA, sensibleness and specificity average, which may be used to assess the quality of chatbots. Lambda, on the other hand, went a step further. It's better at recognizing sensibleness and can keep its responses more specific. During the conference, Google's CEO Sundar Pichai displayed a demo of Lambda's versions of Pluto and a paper plane in two different conversations. They didn't need to fine-tune Lambda to change it from impersonating Pluto to a paper plane, yet they confirmed that it can be fine-tuned for better performance. But Google didn't want to stop at sensible, specific responses. They wanted Lambda to display high interestingness in the form of insightful, unexpected, or witty responses. Also, they consider factuality a crucial dimension in chatbots. This particular feature is lacking in systems as powerful as GPT-3. Giving interesting responses isn't enough if the responses aren't correct. Lastly, the tech world is fighting an ethical battle to reduce biases and potential harmful uses in AI systems. Google is concerned with this, so they want to put responsibility first. They aim at minimizing gender and race biases, hateful speech, and misleading information in systems like Lambda. How would we know if an AI was sentient in some meaningful way? Which standard should we use? It's simple to dismiss Lamda, but will our future predictions be much better? The most widely used standards is the Turing test. If a person converses with an AI program but could not tell it is an AI program, the AI program has passed the Turing test. Things become even more complicated when we ask if people are sentient. You may be thinking to yourself as you read this column and examine the question, of course we are. However, it appears that much of our lives are not lived on a sentient level. One implication of Lamda's story is that many of us will treat AI as sentient long before it is, if it ever is. This upcoming future is sometimes referred to as the Age of Oracles. That is, regardless of the metaphysical position of the AI programs, many people will extol their proclamations. It will be simple to argue either side of the issue, especially since, in a few decades, AI will be able to write, speak, and draw just like a human, if not better. In some ways, these technologies have outgrown the capabilities of the human brain. The speed with which computations are executed is light years beyond human capability. However, the machine's ability to generate independent ideas, particularly at the level of human adults, is still theoretical. Only time will tell when or not if they will exceed the human mind completely. An AI capable of incorporating pragmatic knowledge into its conversational toolset could be even more amazing than Lambda or GPT-3. However, in order to do so, AI will need to have a body and exist in the real world. For the time being, wouldn't it be fascinating to observe a conversation between Lambda and GPT-3? What are your thoughts? So, that's it for today's video. We'll be back with more exciting content soon. If you enjoyed watching our video, then make sure to hit that like button on the left. And subscribe to our channel so you never miss any future updates. Till then, keep evolving.